Wellmax is my first call. When I'm 3,000 miles away, if I have to have some test done, he will order the test. If I need a prescription, he will call in a prescription for me. Yeah, I don't need any other doctor.
I really feel he extended my life on that one instance alone, and it's all part of his attitude of trying to anticipate a problem and dealing with it ahead of time.
A friend of mine, he and I both own racehorses, and I was with him one day down in Del Mar, and he was talking about Wellmax. Now here's a man that travels all over the world, he's got homes all over the world, and he feels that the best medical professional that he's ever used is Dr. Dan Cosgrove down at Wellmax.
Located in the historic La Quinta Resort and Club is Wellmax, a unique and preventative approach to healthcare.
Dr. Cosgrove's philosophy on wellness and being proactive was so amazingly refreshing. I was so unhappy and so depressed that there were no options for me, because that's what the medical care I was given was telling me. You go to someone like Dr. Cosgrove, who was able to explain that people live with this and people are fine on with this disease, and there are so many things, there's so many options for someone like me. It was enlightening. I mean, it really was. I felt like I had my life back.
Founded in 1998 by Dr. Daniel Cosgrove, Wellmax serves a growing number of business owners, professionals, and their families who appreciate Dr. Cosgrove's distinctive approach to maintaining health and vitality.
8 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I knew I needed some help, and I wanted to be treated here in the desert. I actually met Dr. Cosgrove first on the phone, talked to him from Maine, and a few weeks later when I came out here, he put a whole team together for me, a surgeon that was no longer taking patients. Anybody that I needed, he was able to contact and set appointments up immediately for me. That's when I knew that Wellmax was where I needed to be.
He took the time to phone me on a Saturday morning, and particularly Memorial Day Saturday morning, and tell me, you know, this aneurysm is growing and I'm concerned about it. That anticipation of problems, trying to head a problem off before it was life-threatening, or if it is life-threatening, to deal with it right away, I think saved my life.
There are so many people who say, I'm afraid to come because I'm afraid you're going to tell me some bad news. Well, if there's bad news, you're going to hear it sooner or later. And it's much better to hear it sooner, because then it's not such bad news.
The objective is to prevent problems before they occur. That's the most important thing. Most doctors deal with the problem once it's occurred. What Wellmax does is deal with the problem before it occurs, so that you don't have a problem.
He's always trying to look ahead to see what might go wrong here that we can head off before it goes wrong.
What's unique about Wellmax is that they take a preventative approach to healthcare, and they look at the whole person and discover what your tendencies are, what your medical history is, and he's able to synthesize that with his team so that they're looking at everything from nutrition and diet to what you're doing in exercise, to the kinds of medical care that you personally need. And that there's an extensive evaluation of family history, which has a big impact on the type of care that one receives. And they take a very holistic approach to approaching medicine, but they do it in a very personalized way, and they're available 24/7 for the family needs.
The care and the personal attention at Wellmax is superior. It's a whole comprehensive care system. The information that Wellmax gathers on their clients, their patients, is unbelievable. My first visit on a normal wellness checkup is they draw 12 or 15 vials of blood, and that blood is used for every test you can imagine. And you can have as many or as few tests as you want every single year. I believe that the thorough testing is preventative, and I strongly believe that. I don't want anything to slip through the cracks.
Preventive medicine is what Wellmax is all about. That if you say that it's only preventive medicine, then you leave people with the impression that they don't deal with solving, curing, helping resolve problems if they have already occurred. And the truth is, it's a combination of the two.
I had been contending with this insomnia for most of my life. I remember being 9 or 10 years old, pacing around my bed, at night till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then having to get up at 7 o'clock for school. As I got older, the insomnia intensified. I was really discouraged. Most doctors that I met with either put me on some type of medication which would work for a couple months and then wouldn't work. One of the most discouraging sessions that I had with a physician, I remember walking into his office and explaining my sleep history. He told me that essentially there's nothing you can do, and that I'm going to have to learn to live with it. After meeting with Dr. Dan and spending time with him, and after his thorough analysis and his recommendations, I am today a much happier person. My life has been completely changed.
In most cases, you can make a tremendous difference. And for an individual to go from 70% well to 90% well, and you think about their productivity and the change in their productivity and in their just daily joy, it's priceless.
At Wellmax, our thorough testing sets us apart from other executive physicals. We use cutting-edge technology to screen for signs of disease before symptoms occur. For example, other executive physicals test for heart disease using only a cardiac treadmill and cholesterol levels. At Wellmax, our approach goes beyond EKGs and blood work using tests such as ultrasound images of carotid and coronary arteries, which allows us to measure any plaque present and then track that over time. Wellmax looks structurally within the body for signs of disease that might otherwise go undetected. Other testing at Wellmax includes growth hormone and testosterone levels for both men and women, blood tumor markers which screen for several types of cancer, and extensive genetic testing to determine disease susceptibility. These test results become part of your personal health portfolio. With this personal health portfolio, Wellmax can measure, track, and treat critical changes in the body over time. It is this complete and personal monitoring that defines a complete physical at Wellmax.
He goes far beyond the normal kind of examination, testing, research. You go through blood lab tests, you go through all kinds of different tests that you wouldn't normally go through in a typical physical examination.
I had a body scan, I had the range of motion test, I had the psychological exam. I even think I had a memory exam. No doctor had ever even attempted to do anything like this with me. He was really looking at everything.
That's what keeps me going back. That's what keeps me going back. They know me better than I do, and they care, and they've got all my records. They just will do anything that they can to make the patient number one.
Other doctors sort of treat you like you're a product on the assembly line. Dr. Dan spends either an entire day with you or an entire afternoon with you, and then works with you over several days and weeks, while at the same time doing extensive research and speaking to a variety of specialists across the globe.
My husband had just had a physical with his doctor that he had out here about 15 years ago, and it took 10 to 15 minutes, and he was disgusted. He felt neglected, ignored, and his neighbor, our neighbor, told him about Wellmax and the experience that he had had over here with Dr. Cosgrove. And my husband immediately went right home and called and set up an appointment, and has been coming here ever since, 15 years.
We go to Wellmax at La Quinta and see Dr. Cosgrove. There's a real advantage to being able to go there. You get a nice room or a nice suite. You walk over to Wellmax, you go through your series of tests, you have a nice lunch, you go back to your room, you might swim, whatever it is, and then you go back again and work with Dr. Cosgrove. Usually it's a full day. He'll devote a great deal of time to each patient, as will his very, very competent, capable, and pleasant staff of assistants, technicians, nurses, etc., who work with him, and other doctors who work with him.
Coming to Wellmax, first of all, it's at a beautiful resort. So you walk in here and you feel as though you're almost on vacation. When you walk into the office at Wellmax, it's like walking into a spa. It's like very comfortable, very quiet, serene. Wellmax has the state-of-the-art equipment, and you know that they're there to take care of you no matter how long it takes.
Going to the Wellmax Center is so, gosh, I just want to use the word comforting. You go in, you're not in a sterile environment, a cold, sterile environment. A lot of people don't feel comfortable asking the question that they really want to ask. With Dr. Cosgrove, you feel comfortable being yourself, and asking the questions that keep you up at night, that a lot of people are too afraid to ask their doctors. So just the atmosphere of what he provides is what every doctor should be like.
The reordering of medicines and everything is always done in a thorough and willing way, and you get the feeling that the staff is on your side and not trying to shield you from talking to the doctor, which happens in a lot of, it seems to me that some doctor's office you phone, you think the person's only job is to keep you from talking to the doctor.
First of all, it's almost impossible to get an appointment with a doctor in Maine, or a lot of places. You can't call up and be seen by your physician the next day, but you can here at Wellmax. You can call up, and if you need something, you're in the next day.
Well, I think the thing that Wellmax really does well is personalized medical attention and care. And in a world where medical services delivered in an hourly basis and focused on insurance reimbursements, I think Dan takes a very personal approach to it, very professional. And my wife and I travel around the world and have access to medical care many places, and we've always found that Dan is forthright, professional, and very thorough, and we enjoy that personalized touch to the medicine, and he's available nearly any time you want him. He cares, and the whole staff has done a fabulous job.
Whether you come for the day or stay overnight, Wellmax utilizes advanced technology to gather extensive information and create a personal file for each client.
The success in the aneurysm situation was that Dr. Cosgrove had the backup data with which to follow the progress. And so when he spotted the aneurysm, he had the background, and then he was able to act in a proactive way that kept it from being a life-threatening situation. And it was the whole process is what led to the success.
When I come in for my annual checkup, after they've done all the testing, I have a consultation with him that can last hours. And he pulls all the test results up on the computer, shows me exactly how they've been tracking for the last 8 years and how things have changed, if there's a difference in the numbers and what it means, what's significant, what isn't significant. It's total, complete records of everything. That is a specialty of Wellmax.
One of the things that Wellmax does that I think is very, very critical and very helpful is that everything is computerized, and he has a process that he uses to make sure that it's updated all the time. It's on a computer. We all have a code or a password to our own website so that we, the patient, can go online and use that. But beyond that, we carry with us a smart drive, and should anything happen at any time, and I have to go to an emergency room, or any of my family does, or to another doctor, it allows us to just give them the smart drive. They can pop it in, and they'll know everything about my medical history and what's going on with my body, et cetera, et cetera. It's a huge advantage, actually, and we've had occasion to use it.
They give me a jump drive, yes, that I can take back east with me if I ever need to be hospitalized or emergency situation. The jump drive is there, plug it in, and my entire file, it comes up.
With this complete picture of one's health, Wellmax can properly diagnose, refer, or treat any patient with the highest degree of confidence, care, and accuracy.
Dr. Dan insisted that I take a bone density exam, which I thought might be sort of over the top or unnecessary. And to both our surprises, I have very, very low bone density, which could be extremely dangerous if I were to be involved in a car accident or some type of incident involving significant trauma. So he put me on a bone density supplement.
My daughter was 18 at the time, had no health problems, seemingly. Dr. Cosgrove, he took the time to do a very unique set of blood tests that determined that she had celiac disease. You know, for years she had gone through the more typical physical, and no one had ever determined that she had the disease, much less suggested any preventative care for it.
My daughter-in-law had been misdiagnosed for years in terms of a very serious medical problem that she had. Dr. Cosgrove correctly diagnosed it, sent her to a specialist, and she now is, not only do I have a beautiful granddaughter because of that, but she's now pregnant, and I'm about to have another grandson. Dr. Cosgrove gets the credit for that.
Dr. Dan sets a bar, and the people that work at Wellmax have to meet that very high bar.
My husband and I are the members, but our whole family definitely benefits from Wellmax. We know all the people that work there. They know us. They call us whenever they need to. It's a dialogue. They're there for us, and we just love it.